do not sleep on Ole Miss. Now, if you look at what they did this past weekend, I think they have now firmly established that they have a quarterback that's a bona fide star. I mean, Trinidad Chambliss is a star. It's just his third start, Division II transfer from Ferris State, and it was not pretty early. Like, it was hard. And I have a ton of respect. Mostly everybody that's watched him this year has a ton of respect for what LSU does defensively. I don't know how you couldn't. I mean, they are really, really good at all three levels. They have a lot of guys that are dynamic. They have defensive linemen that can take over the game. They have linebackers that can fly sideline to sideline. They have legitimate erasers at several levels, and I think their secondary is as good as there is in college football. Like, they are that good. Mansour Delane is a complete lockdown. A.J. Halsey, their safety, is one of the most instinctive players in the sport. And you know what? No problem. Trinidad Chambliss goes out, throws for 314. Critical third down throws in the second half that were enormous. Adds 71 on the ground. He has now went for over 400 yards of total offense in the first two matchups, but you can kind of point to it and say, you know what? That was against Arkansas, who clearly has struggles defensively. That was against Tulane. That's a G5 opponent. Like, what's he going to do against real competition? We all had that question, right? How could you not? I mean, it's a fair question to have. This will be by far the most talented defense that Trinidad Chambliss has ever seen. And it made no difference whatsoever. Third consecutive game, he's gone over 300 yards to the year. He's got dual threat playmaking ability. And I think his level of poise and execution was on display perfectly on that 20-yard pass to Daquan Wright on a gutsy fourth down call by Lane Kiffin. That call by itself, they were in field goal range. They could have kicked the field goal, made it an 8-point game. Instead, Lane Kiffin says, you know what? Nope, I trust my quarterback. Calmly delivers an accurate throw for the game-winning conversion. He is our dude of the week. Trinidad Chambliss, quarterback of the Ole Miss Rebels. Another takeaway in this game, though. They know for a while now this team can score. Ole Miss, for as long as Lane Kiffin's there, they've been averaging over 507 yards since 2020. That's most in college football. Very few teams have been as good as the Rebels the last few years when it comes to manufacturing offense. But one thing that has not been as good at times in Lane Kiffin's tenure has been the defense. That was not the case last year. They were elite at all three levels defensively last year, which led to, one of the best performances we've seen from an Ole Miss defense in a very long time. They led the nation in sacks. They led the nation in tackles for loss. They led the nation in rush defense. They were amazing. All right. They were amazing all throughout last year. That has not been the case this year, though. They gave up 35 to Arkansas. They gave up a decent amount of big plays against other teams they've faced. They've struggled stopping the run. They had given up 190 yards on the ground a game. That was not anywhere near what we've come to expect from a Pete Golding-led defense. Well, guess what? They were back the other day. Now, part of this has to do with LSU, but a lot of this also has to do with the fact that this is a stifling defense with a really good and disruptive front, and they just held the Bayou Bengals to 254 total yards. It's 100 yards below their season average. They were especially good, though, on third down. They allowed just 2 for 11 on third down conversions. And some Terrian Perkins all over the field, man. He was great. Also had a critical stop on the 2-point conversion late in the game. So if you just look at everything right now, I think Ole Miss is rounding into a team that could become a huge problem as the season goes along. They're currently 5-0, and let's look at the schedule, all right? Washington State at Georgia, huge game. On the 18th of October, they're at Oklahoma on the 25th of October. At that point, will John Mateer be back for Oklahoma? Who knows? South Carolina's at home, the Citadel. They have Florida at home on the 15th of November before they finish up in the Egg Bowl on the road in Starkville against the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Right now, they're 5-0. Like I said, I think 5-2 probably gets them in the playoff. And at this point, right now, I can only tell you for sure that they will be an underdog one time. For sure, they'll be an underdog at Georgia. Now, will they be on the road at Oklahoma? We'll see. Will they be at any other point? Probably not. This team could be a team that at season's end, they're sitting there 10-2, and that might even be a surprise because if they hold serve as the favorite, they might be in a position to be exactly where they need to be, and that's punching their ticket to the playoff for the first time when they came up short last year.